Hi everybody. I'm gonna spend the day in my garden and I'm gonna take video of anything that I find that I think you might like to see. And the idea is sometimes you don't have to go very far from home to see some really cool stuff. I'm doing some gardening and the birds are still coming to my feeders. There's a rose-breasted grosbeak. And we also have oranges over there for the oriole who's been coming. And over here we have the hummingbird feeder. And there's a chipmunk. Just ran through the shot like I planned it. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. This is the little garden that I'm expanding. Madame Potter's not a very good gardener, as you can probably tell. It's a bit messy here, but I wanted to show you something that I just pulled out of my garden. This stuff is grass. And everybody seems to like to have this to cover the ground. This stuff is not native, doesn't belong here. And I wanted to show you something about how it grows. It has very, very short, shallow roots, which means that it needs to be watered frequently to survive. And in fact, when it gets very, very hot out here, this grass will die because we don't tend to water our lawn. But there are a couple of other non-natives growing in my lawn. This one we've already talked about. This is a dandelion. And I want to just point out something about dandelions. Do you see why this dandelion would survive a drought better than the grass? Those incredible roots are so much better at reaching down into the soil and finding water. That's why dandelions are very hard to remove from grass, because they do a very good job of surviving. And by the way, these leaves would be great in a salad. Humans can eat these leaves. And the flowers, like we've already said, are great for bees. But here's another non-native. This is white clover. The Latin name for this is trifolium because it has 3 leaves. And it will have a really nice white flower that bees love. But it also has these incredible roots. So again, clover is a plant that does extremely well in drought compared to grass. You don't have to water it for it to survive. And if you don't like dandelions, it makes a really nice alternative as something to cover your lawn. There's the Baltimore oriole feeding on the orange. There's the rose-breasted grosbeak. He's singing very softly. He's hard to see. But that's more like the sound that I expect to hear from a rose-breasted grosbeak. A little bit like a robin, but some people say with a prettier voice. That sound is a goldfinch sound. Can you see the goldfinches? They're hard to see. There's one. There's another one over here somewhere. There he is. That almost sounds like a question. That's a goldfinch noise. Do you see that birdhouse over there? And if you listen, you can hear the occupant of that birdhouse. That's a house wren making all of that warbling noise. And it might sound pretty, but I think if we could translate it, it would be pretty rude. He's singing because I'm getting too close. He doesn't like it. There he is. He's brave because I'm very close to his house. And he's doing his best to tell me to leave him alone. So I'm going to do that. Don't worry, little buddy. I'm not going to hurt you. The robin has built several nests on our porch for some reason. One of them, I think, has eggs in it. Let's go see. Oh, look what there is in this beautiful nest. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? These are robin's eggs. Now we're inside my shed, just so we can see one other bird nest covered in moss. Every bird uses different materials to build their nests. This is a phoebe nest. Phoebe's another insect-eating bird. Look what Derek's putting up. That's a bat box. I would love to have little brown bats roosting in there. Can you see this little grub? It's actually not a grub at all. He's a larva of a beetle. And if I gently turn him over, you can see that the underside of his abdomen is very bright yellow. I'm pretty sure this is the larva of a firefly. Some people call these glowworms, not worms at all. But they glow just like the adult firefly glows. And pretty soon, our field out there will be full of fireflies. I'll make sure I make another video for you when they come. I just noticed something in my garden that's making me very happy. That bird house over there has tree swallows, possibly building their nest inside. That's the male that is poking his way in now, and the female is sitting on top. And that's such good news, because this is an animal that isn't doing very well right now. In fact, many of the birds that feed on insects, their populations have dropped drastically recently. And these guys will also really help us with our black flies and mosquitoes. They're amazing flyers. We're going to have a lot of fun this summer watching them hunt in the field. Look who I found. Isn't this cool? This is a giant American millipede. He's not a centipede. He's a millipede. Mille pieds, 1,000 feet. Not centipede, centipede, 100 pieds, 100 feet. He doesn't have 1,000 feet, but he does have very, very many feet. And centipedes often have their legs sort of pointing outwards from their sides. Millipedes have their legs pointing downward. And he's covered in his protective shell that is divided into all those little segments. And part of his shell covers his face. His mouth parts, which are too tiny to bite me or hurt me, are facing downward, and that's because he burrows through leaf litter and soil, eating the rotting vegetation that is in my garden. So he's a big help, and I'm going to put him back. We're at the edge of my garden, and I just lifted this piece of wood. And look who's living right underneath. Blue-spotted salamander. Here's someone else I found in my garden. This beautiful fellow is a ground beetle. And he's got that gorgeous iridescence to his shell. And he also has a protection. Hiding under the rock, are we? The way he protects himself is he makes a smell. So if I were to pick him up, my hands would get stinky. Here's something that I'm going to enjoy in a couple of weeks. These are lilacs getting ready to bloom. And I think this should be the end of the video because that's a lot. It's longer than it should be already. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. It is really nice for me to be able to make you these videos and know that you're watching. And I hope you remember that I miss you very much. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody.